Hey, it looks like that's working. Anyways, I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi. How the heck are you, my friends? Once again, I'm back to watch and discuss a movie with y'all. You guys, my friends, night owls, welcome. I see our friend Stacy is already here in the chat. She says hello and thanks. I needed a new copy of this movie. The movie she's speaking about is Something Wicked This Way Comes, a Ray Bradbury movie. It's owned by Disney. It hasn't been available to watch on streaming until 2 days ago. That was one of the complaints about Disney Plus is that they never offered this to people to watch. So during my stream, we were discussing how this is one of the main movies I wished I could see on Disney Plus. And then sure enough, a day or two ago, I see just added. And I was like, oh, looks like I've got a live stream lined up. So tonight we'll be watching this movie. It means a lot to me in a lot of different ways. It's kind of a weird underground cult hit. A lot of people like me saw it when they were young, and it was kind of one of their gateways to horror. Me, not totally. I'd watched so much horror by this point. You know, this just fell in with it. But it's got a sweet sort of nostalgic coming of age story mixed with like some truly scary, memorable moments, and the tattoos on the hand scene. Ooh, we'll get to all that. Anyways, so yeah, I thought we would watch this one in celebration of Halloween. It's October, what are we, the 5th now? Yeah, sorry, it's just day just rolled over. It's 1:30 a.m., October 5th. So I thought we would kick off spooky season and a bunch of horror stuff for this channel, content in various shorts and whatnot. And this is a perfect way to kick it off. It's about fall, it's scary, all sorts of stuff. I see our folks and friends are filling in the chat here. Let's say hi to them. Stacy says, "Do you like Gotcha? Watch Party for that one? Did you watch that one a lot?" I did watch that one a lot. That's a weird one. I dug the first part when they had the game that they played, like where they would pass out, hit list assignments and stuff, and you'd have to go like stalk your person and shoot them. And then when it turns into a thriller, it gets I like it slightly less, but it's still good. I dig it. It's what Anthony Edwards, I think. Man, I need to watch that one again though. I've worked with many writers and screenwriters. Mr. Bradbury was great, very kind, and answered many questions. Yes, I'm a big Ray Bradbury fan. One of the many, many reasons we'll discuss why this movie means so much to me personally is Ray Bradbury and I are from the same hometown, Waukegan, Illinois. And this movie takes place in a small Illinois town and it's basically my hometown as a kid. It's supposed to be in the story. It's Greentown, Illinois, and in the movie they filmed it in Vermont. Whatever, but when I look at it, I kind of recognize the downtown areas of back home. With the brick roads and the old brick buildings and just the 1920s sensibilities. My mom went to a concert to that part of town tonight to see 38 Special, the country band or rockers, not the rapper. She's hip, but not that hip. Um, so yeah, part of the reason this touches me so much is like there's a Ray Bradbury statue at a park I used to go to. There's a bar there that's all Ray Bradbury posters and pictures and stuff. So I'm a big Bradbury head. I used to watch Ray Bradbury Theater. That's a tongue twister on USA all the time. I used to love that. That was right up there with one of my favorite anthologies. I think it rivaled The Hitchhiker. Not as much sexiness, but still. Um, and yeah, so I love Ray Bradbury as well. Did you watch this in the cinemas? I did. One of the other reasons this means a lot to me is I saw this in the theater. I owned it on VHS and I owned it on DVD. I never got it on Blu-ray because apparently Disney had it. You had to be a member of the Disney Movie Club to even get it on Blu-ray. So it's out of print now, and the ones that are floating around are valuable. But I have a bootleg copy on DVD. But this will be the first time I've ever watched it in HD tonight. So if I get caught going, ooh, that's a pretty shot, that's because this is the first time I've ever watched it in HD. Sorry. Yo, buddy. By the way, slept 2016 in my memoirs. Went bowling yesterday. I'm going to the Medieval Times October 25th and saw him. It was okay. Next up is the Smashing Machine. Well, first of all, thank you, Anthony Chabot, for coming. Welcome, my friend. Um, Curious about the Smashing Machine. Won't get to the theater to see it, but I'll watch it on streaming. It's like the Iron Claw or something. It's one of those that has my interest, but I'll check it out. Him, I kind of want to see because I hear a lot of bad things about it, but I'm curious. Also, very Twilight Zoney, much like this movie I'm getting ready to watch. Um, uh, Overall, I think you on the memoirs is going good. Just don't rush it. The timing is everything. So if you're on 2016, a lot's coming up. All of it. So take your time, work into it. But anyways, welcome, Anthony. Stacey, I'll get a new copy of the trial out soon. I love this movie. Disney poster for this is strange. Yeah, this is one I absolutely love. It. The imagery, the Jonathan Price stuff. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, even though this was considered a flop. At the theater, it cost 20 million to make, primarily because the director was like loved to do reshoots, and he fired the editor and hired a new editor, and he fired the person who scored the movie the first time and hired a new person to score it. So the budget just ballooned outrageous. This dude, Jack Clayton, John Clayton, whatever. But because of that, like his inability to deliver stuff on time and on budget, he got passed up for doing Alien. So Ridley Scott might have not have done Alien. This dude who made this movie might have if he wasn't such a money spender. Um, but yeah, the art for this, just the way it looks, I don't know. I'm getting ready to press play and we'll talk about the beauty of it. I can wax poetic about this movie for at least an hour and a half. Saw Prince of Darkness. It was freaking awesome. Got 1,000. Which Prince of Darkness? The old John Carpenter one? What tone or style of prose is the memoir? Sounds fun. Oh, Anthony's lived a wild life, man. It's about growing up in New York City. Okay, okay. Man, hi, I stayed awake for this. Thank you, man. Have you seen this one before? This is one not a lot of people have seen, but the ones who've seen it usually kind of love it. When I found out it was mixed critical review, I was like, the critics who didn't like this are idiots. Like I was offended. Don, hello, Chad. Welcome, man. Queen Mayan, the Queen of Horror, is a magnificent woman. You should check her out, her channel. She's got the coolest stuff. She's always got something neat to show us. So, yeah, show and tell with Mayan is just wonderful. So, be sure to check out my friend Queen Mayan. What roller coaster would you go on over and over again while watching a horror movie you had like for 90 minutes? No roller coasters. It's weird. I'm a tall man, but at the same time, I hate heights. So just being on them, and I don't trust man-made objects. Like I don't believe in the like reliability of screws and nuts and bolts. Like riding over big long bridges bothers me and stuff. I don't trust man-made things. Um, let's see here, which sounds like a crazy person, and I am. Hey yo, Echo Zero, cha cha cha. Cha. Welcome, my friend. Echo, have you ever seen Something Wicked This Way Comes? I bet Echo hates it. Echo always likes to rile me up with some of these. Echo, John Carpenter. Okay, so that is the John Carpenter one. Yeah, we talked about that a couple on something. What is it? In the Mouth of Madness. Sorry, my brain's looking at Something Wicked This Way Comes. We talked about that in the Mouth of Madness. How I don't really totally get Prince of Darkness. I need to watch it sometime. My buddy Horror Cat Dad Larry has said he'll watch it with me and help break it down for me, give me some fresh analysis. First time watching with you, my friend. Well, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, like I mentioned, this is on Disney Plus. Even in its Wikipedia and Google descriptions, it mentions this is October 3rd, 2025 is the first time this has ever been available streaming. It's on YouTube. You can find it, but it's a crap version. It's like 480p and it's real stuttery and skippy. Avoid that one. I also, if you go into Google and you put in Something Wicked This Way Comes, you can go into the videos, and then like on page 3 or 4, you'll find like weird rando websites that have it, like Daily Motion rip-off type sites. Hey, Larry, I was just talking about you. The Owl King is live. Hello, my friend. Larry, have you seen this movie? Anthony, just got 1,000. Hey, congratulations. I think I did read that in the other thing, but there was so much to absorb there. It just kind of went one ear out the other. Congratulations, my friend. Speaking of that, I'm only like 36, 37 subscribers away from 1,000 myself. So feel free to like and subscribe. I would appreciate it so, so much. As you know, 1,000 is a nice benchmark for YouTubers. So if you're a fan of the show or you'd like to be a fan of the show or you'd like to be friends, if you just need a hug, whatever, just subscribe. We'll work it out later. Echo Seto says Meow Cat Dad. Larry, see what I mean? Larry's a hero of the community. Would Stephen King Joyland be a good movie or a series? I don't know if I'm familiar with Joyland. The word prolific basically exists because of Stephen King. I've never known a writer to write that much. Like, you pretty much have to just read all the time to absorb the Stephen King there is. And I unfortunately am a movie person, and my reading is often like when I need a quiet weekend or something. So I'm way behind on my Stephen King. But the classics I've all read, The Shining, Cujo, Misery, the It, all those, that stuff. The biggies that everybody knows, I made sure I read. Christine, Carrie. Folks are just saying hi to each other. Um, Thanks for the Club Dread watch along. Who did a Club Dread watch along? I haven't watched that movie in a while. No, I don't think I've seen Alien because I can't recall ever hearing of it. Yeah, that's the thing. This is one of the definitions of cult classics. Went kind of glossed over. I think it won Saturn Award for best science fiction fantasy movie of the year it came out and stuff. But other than that, yeah, critics were mediocre on it. Box office was like 8 million against 20 million to make, so it was considered a flop. But as I mentioned, it was on Disney Plus or Disney back in the day, the Disney Channel on cable. So when they would have their free Disney Channel weekends, I would make sure to catch something wicked this way comes. That was my jam. This and Tron. Thank you for tuning in, Stacy. Oh, you did Club Dread. Larry, how did I miss this? I'm so behind on the loop. That's the problem with all I've got going on in my life these days. I miss all sorts of awesome stuff. If Elvis were alive in the 1990s, would have you been better for the Nick Nolte role on Cape Fear or the Dennis Hopper role in Speed? This is an awesome question. Let me hold on. Cheers. If Elvis were alive in the 1990s, would he have been better for the Nick Nolte role in Cape Fear or the Dennis Hopper role in Speed? Hmm. Imagine the Jeopardy music playing in your mind as I think. I'm gonna go Elvis as Dennis Hopper in Speed. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think when Keanu holds his head up and it takes off the big pompadour and the yellow glasses, and he's like, "I'm taller," like that'd be more awesome. Because I don't know if he's sympathetic enough to play the dad role. Like, oh, I feel bad for Elvis. He looks weak, getting beaten up by Robert De Niro and all that. I'm watching on Disney Plus. I saw their advertisement. It seems interesting. Yeah, it's a wild one. There's a lot to talk about with it. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this here. We will get you to 1,000, my man. Thank you, Larry. Larry's always the biggest supporter. One of the best friends I have in life. Sadly, um, the day I met the dude, he's like it just became like a dear friend. We've never even been in the same room, but every time I see Larry's avatar or his words, or when we interact on screen, I'm always like, what a cool dude. I love that guy. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. Like I said, Disney Plus. It's called Something Wicked This Way Comes. The description is Dark's Pandemonium Carnival arrives in Greentown. So there's play. Okay, so it's playing. I got it on mute. I got it on mute. There it is. Yeah, this is one I've. Oh, they're going to hit me with a commercial. Oh, I hate that. Sometimes on Disney, I get the commercials. Sometimes I don't get the commercials. So they're going to hit me with a minute and a half one, which is good. I can read comments while this gets going. My cousin might start streaming on my channel and just me do audio. Some, yeah, you have a lot of smart ideas and you know a lot about movies. So yeah, I think you would. Any projects where you're putting out more content, I'm all for. 3 months since Rihanna died, just post tribute to her on IG. That is a tragedy, sad situation here, Anthony. I apologize, my friend. I'm glad that you're keeping her memory alive like that. Make Speed 3, where Keanu and Sandra get married on honeymoon, but is hijacked and Dennis Hopper's son does this revenge. Paul Dano, Jack Quaid, Ben Foster, someone else. I'm going to say Paul Dano, just because the movie we're getting ready to watch has Royal Dano in it. His father. He's like this old actor who was in all these cowboy movies. He's one of those that guys. As soon as you see him, you're like, oh, Royal Dano. Hey, Sean is here. Welcome, my friend. Cinephile World Order. Be sure to check out Sean's channel. Always the coolest watch-alongs and his shorts. He's always got something cool going on in his shorts. I That really sounds wrong. I apologize, Sean, but congratulations. You got cool stuff going on in your shorts, brother. Hey, Don. Hello, everyone. I watched this a few days ago before the October and the annual sample of my fall season movie watch list. Yeah, this is the wonder. Like, it's a perfect film for fall because it leads you into Halloween. It's about evil coming to town, and the beginning of it starts like very, almost like To Kill a Mockingbird. It's told, in narration by someone who's an adult now, thinking back to when they were a child. Kind of like um, Stand by Me or something. So it really is very poetic about fall and what it's like to be in this small town. And here it's starting. The beginning is very similar to The Thing. Like the letters are blood drops and they sort of like pour in. And it says Ray Bradbury's, but it's got like kind of this creepy "what's this say" effect to it. Um, like I mentioned earlier, this is the first time I've ever watched this in HD. I've only had crappy bootleg copies. I had a VHS copy for a long time I bought used from a video store. Um, yeah, this is total ripoff of The Thing, but that's awesome. And instead of the smoke pouring out of the letters, well, the smoke do pour out of the letters, but then it cuts to a train coming head on. So it does a little twist on The Thing. Um, The whole thing. Oh, there's Jonathan Pryce's credit. Jonathan Pryce is fantastic in this. Like I said, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this movie that was kind of technically a flop. I saw this once in the theater and a bajillion times on cable. Anytime it was on cable, I would watch it. Disney. I always want to call it Disney Plus, Disney Channel, and I think one of the regular movie channels, HBO or something in the afternoon would show it sandwiched between The Outsiders and Rumblefish or something. Folks are saying hello to Sean. Elvis is Dennis Hopper and Speed would have been great. I totally agree. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not doing wrestling much long, taking a break. Oh, yeah, I know. Wrestling's been kind of weird lately. I don't know. There's been cool stuff, but it's been off and on. And I don't know. Who gets a nickel every time a YouTuber utters spooky season? Oh, somebody should, right? I have a happy spooky season banner on my Night Owl Movie Talk page, which, by the way, you should check out because all the back catalog of commentaries and all the ridiculous shorts. I've been putting out like 4 shorts a day there. So be sure to check out the catalog. All sorts of fun stuff going on over there. And give me a happy spooky season in the comments. All right. So we get through the credits and we get the big pull out open, and it's fall and it's like perfect, beautiful. Like it's a shot of a lake, and there's all these like yellow and orange and green. It totally reminds me of up north. I don't have the as I mentioned on other streams. I'm currently living in Tampa, Florida, which is way out of my element. I'm usually used to living up north by the Great Lakes, so in Wisconsin. Yeah, and here it is, just these long, like almost poetic, full of cold winds, long nights. It looks almost like the end of freaking Friday the 13th. And this is a coming of age story about two kids, but it's real touching. Like the one has an older father, and I'm an older father, so the relationship between him and his son mean a lot to me. But then there's another kid whose father ran away or died or something, and his mom's raising him. So he's got like real rebellious streak stuff. Um, to a certain extent, I think if you like Stranger Things, you would probably dig this. There's a lot of that in there. Basically, we're just in a small Illinois town, and an evil carnival shows up, and the guy who runs the carnival starts making Faustian bargains with the people who live there. Oh, you wish you were beautiful and young again? I'll make you beautiful and young again, except you're blind. so, yeah, it's creepy and trippy Twilight Zone. It's very Ray Bradbury. Here's a pretty shot. This looks totally Norman Rockwell, like with just this fall scene and the old town in the background. I believe this takes place in maybe the 20s. Oh no, it's after World War II, so it would have to be late 40s, I'm assuming. But the people look real old timey. Yeah, we start to meet the folks in the town. Yeah, there's the bearded man who runs the barber shop. Later on, he gets turned into a woman. Like he gets turned into the bearded lady at the carnival. Spell check destroyed me. Scrooge McDuck came up with that. I bet he did. That's where all that came from. That's a good call. Fair rides experiences. That hammerhead is fun. When I was a kid, I liked the carnival just for all the atmosphere more than anything. For some reason, I would go on the Ferris wheel, which is dumb. Ferris wheels break more than anything, but most of the other carnival rides weren't my gig. Um, I just liked walking around, smelling the funnel cake, playing the games, throw the darts at the balloon, try to pick up the duck and see what number's underneath it, maybe win a poster, you know. Uh, um, Loved this movie, an annual staple in my fall movie watching. There, thank you. Yeah, I got you the first time. This is like a perfect fall movie. It's like it just opened up with some, beautiful fall scenery. Here, the kid who I said has a rebellious streak was drawn they're in class in school, and he was drawing a picture of the teacher. The teacher, this woman, I can't even think of what her name is. I know her primarily from when I was a kid, and she was on Green Acres. Like her and her brother were the Ralph and something whatever brothers, the Monroe brothers. That's what they were. Let's see. Here is he in here? Mary Grace Canfield plays Mrs. Foley. Like I say, I know her mainly as just like the handyman on Green Acres. Handy woman, handy person, handy capable. So I like the beginning of this all. It reminds me a lot of the same thing that Christmas Story, that same vibe it brings to me, this like old timey, two or three generations before mine kind of thing. And it's a super good period piece, lots of old timey cars. There's one right there. Shoe shine, 5 cents. This is a really cool tracking shot. Yeah, I can see this was probably expensive. They're following these kids through the town, and you get a basic idea of the like town square. There's the famous football player, the town athlete who was injured in the war. That's why I remember the war was popular. And now he's only got one leg and one arm, but he's got still got football fantasy dreams or whatever. Um, what you got going on in your shorts, sir? Right? I need to catch up. I'm still on Sean. I'm still trapped in Sean's shorts. He did demons earlier. That was fun. Who did demons? Oh, Sean did? Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw the damn thing earlier when I was setting up. I saw it was coming up. I'm gonna have to watch the replay of that. I always like Sean. He's got a chill, just hangout vibe on his channel. It's cool. He's always been a good friend to me here. What you got going on your shorts there? I love the way this carnival looks. It looks familiar. Yeah, when Dark himself shows up, it feels like yeah, just the evil carnival. It's a concept that's in a lot of things. I think Kiss had some like dark carnival toys and stuff. Like Todd McFarlane made them, and there was like uh and I don't know. Anyways, I was just sort of waxing poetic with the thought of a dark carnival. Basically, it's this falls into the same concept that I talk about with movies. Sometimes people will say there's only like seven stories that are told, or six stories that are ever told. There's only two stories that are ever told. Stranger comes to town, hero goes in a journey. This is obviously Stranger comes to town. The whole point is either you were minding your own business and trouble fell in your lap, or you went on an adventure looking for trouble and you found it. And this is, yeah, Michael Myers is Stranger comes to town. Jason is hero goes on a journey. I went camping and somebody tried to get me. So here we meet uh, Jason Robards. He runs the library. Um, like I said, he's an older father, and there's a scene later on where the devil's. Well, we'll discuss whether or not he's the devil, but the guy who's running the dark carnival, he offers him years of his life back, and he's tearing pages out of a book as if they were just years of his life. Would you like to be 25 again? Gone. 26? And it's like just I don't know. It's still haunting and just the thought of what's more valuable than time. You can have $1 billion, but if you're not alive to spend it or any like ability to spend it, who cares? So yeah, just the way he offers him years of his life back and pulls him away so like coldly. So here's another cool shot. This old man, Royal Dano, who we mentioned earlier, Paul Dano's father. He's in a bunch of old cowboy movies and stuff. He usually plays a drunk. Um, he's in this, and he's going around as the like, I don't know, vagabond lightning rod salesman, and he's going door to door selling lightning rods because he says evil's coming and you need to protect yourself and whatever. So he sells the one kid one with I think scarabs on it, like Egyptian beetles or whatever. Let's see here. Disney was darker then. Back Cauldron, Flight of the Ever, Witch Mountain, Watcher in the Woods. Yeah, most people say this is Disney's darkest film. Now with the Marvel stuff and the Star Wars, and they've moved more mature on a lot of their things. But back in this era, for sure, like compared to Zippity Doo Dah with Mary Poppins and all that. This was played in schools all the time. Oh, you got to see this in school. Awesome. I wish I did. Why aren't you popping up? Papa Gas, I see you. Where are you? There we go. Sorry, I had a freeze up there. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome, Papa Gas. Thank you, my friend. Glad to see you here. It's 1985. You're on Studios. Give Pesci steroids and have him battle which 90s action star? Pesci versus, so many options, right? Especially a muscled up Pesci. Van Damme. I want Pesci Van Damme. Look, Jean Claude. I don't know what you think is going to go on, but you're about to catch a foot to your head. That was a free Joe Pesci. The rest will cost you. Tampa, that's nice. I hope you're having a nice time. Oh, Tampa's terrible. No, I love it because my family's here, and that's all that matters really. Is me and my wife and my kids. If I'm anywhere, I'll be fine. But it's so goddamn hot. I mean, so god sporking hot. Like even now, today, it's supposed to be fall, and part of the reason I long for a movie like this and seeing the cold and the wind and all these trees turning, the palm trees don't turn. I remember last year at Christmas time, walking down the street and there's all these people like singing in Spanish and there's Mexican music playing and everything, and folks just living the life, and it's like Christmas time. It's like this just doesn't feel like what I'm used to. I'm used to snow, and I'm used to the changing leaves and sweaters and corn mazes and all that Dorco stuff. It's just we don't get it here. It's all Hulk Hogan's beef shop everywhere you look. Um, in Wisconsin, I just finished watching the Ed Gein Netflix series. Yeah, that's northern Wisconsin. I've been up to that area. That's up by where I went to college, like up by Green Bay and stuff like that. But yeah, the what's his name? The butcher of I forget what they call him. But yeah, there's so many Ed Gein stories. I really want to watch that Charlie Hunnam, how you pronounce it? What's his name? From Sons of Anarchy, Jax. That guy, the Pacific Rim guy. But yeah, that looks good. I never saw the Menendez brothers ones or the Jeffrey Dahmer one. They're getting a nice little collection of true crime miniseries to check out. So yeah, now we just see sort of the town life. Jason Robards buys a cigar from the cigar guys. I can't remember what happens to the cigar guy. Like I said, I remember the beard guy turns into the bearded lady, and there's like a big muscle bound guy who turns into a little kid. Like they basically give you what you want and then pull it away. Faustian bargain. Um, I like this better than Stand By Me. Yeah, I do too personally. Although I'm a big fan of Stand By Me. It's the same vibe. It's your friends when you're little, and they even mention in like Stand By Me, that's the best friends you'll ever have because you just haven't lived long enough. So those are like your first adopted family you ever have. Later on, you adopt many people or kick many people out of your family. But this one is more nostalgic for being a kid, like it just being small and feeling like the world is big and the adults have one world and kids have another world, and it also looks at everything very, poetically. It's a beautiful film. Um, right now watching it, it's not that much better in HD. Like I'm not blown away by anything yet, and I'm guaranteeing when some of the special effects show up, like the part where he's tearing the pages out of the book and everything, that's gonna not gonna look as great. There's a part where like somebody maybe gets electrocuted. I want to say, I think Royal Dano does. Um, and I'm wondering how that's gonna look. I bet that's gonna look real. Return of the Jedi. I like this better than Sam Ivy. John Phillippe, that's an Evil Dead 3 or 2013. I love it. Um, uh, I watched it again recently because after I saw Evil Dead Rise, yeah, whatever. When I saw that one, I was like, I need to go back and watch the Fede Alvarez one. And seeing it again last year at Halloween, it was like one of the scarier, more unsettling movies I've seen. Um, maybe one of the most visually scary movies made. It's so gory, and just the demons are so haunting, and like if there was a movie I wouldn't want my kids to walk in and be like, "What is going on?" It'd be that one probably. Although my daughter watched it while I was watching Alien, and she was loving it. And then later on, I was watching Alien Earth. I barreled through those. Pretty good show. I enjoyed it. Um, and she came in a couple times. She's like, "Oh, your aliens are back." Oh man, it's his best horror movie ever. See, so I wasn't going too much of a hot take there. Yeah, it's an excellent film. I enjoy it a lot. A lot of the films from that era at the time were very good to me, but like I thought they were well made and good. Um, that film, the It movies, It Follows. Um, what was the other one that just was on the tip of my tongue? But that, like, The Conjuring, kind of that late aughts, early teens and mid teens in there. It seemed very bland at the time, but now there's a bunch of classics in there. Okay, so here yeah, in this transfer, there's a whole bunch of like, just like dust on the lens and things that would normally be cleaned up digitally. Lots of little like just fragments and poppings going on. I'm wondering if I watched it so many years on VHS and on cable, I would never notice it. I would just probably assume it was something in the transmission. But now, yeah, seeing it like this, and I can't believe they spent so much to get this right, and there's still so much wrong with it. Um, let's see here. If you were required to wear a 1700 style ruff like Baron Munchausen or something like that, what color ruff would you choose and what design? Man, that is a question no one has ever asked and never. Stacy gets best question award. I don't know. Blue, black. Everything else I own is black. It's like, could it be any more black? Where would you cast this if Jonathan said? Oh, Jonathan Price. I'm assuming that is. I don't know. Jonathan Price said no. There we go. See, I read a typo. Um, I don't know. I think maybe I'm sure there are plenty of other actors who could pull this off, but there's something about Jonathan Pryce. Like he's so like smooth. He's almost like a dancer, you know. It's like Christopher Walken would be too weird. Um, you know, who else? I don't know. Any sort of smooth talking. And what's his name? Anthony Hopkins could have maybe done it before he did Lecter, but mm, what's his name? Charles Dance might have been good in this. Um, I don't know. Give me your thoughts on who else would have been good as Mr. Dark. So here's some lightning strikes that are somewhat questionable. We see that there's a big storm, but this also this scene in particular coming up where they're the kids. Or is it after this scene? Whatever. Coming up, there's going to be a part where they have a slumber party, and then there's like spiders in the bed and stuff. It's very much like The Gate or something. Um, the Gate is another movie similar to this with a lot of like coming of age, you know, what it's like to be young and how the world seems so big because you're little, and how big evil seems when you're little. You know, in this movie, the kids sort of recognize evil's power, and the adults are sort of like curious about it. Like, how do you get all this power, man? Let's see here. Is another Midnight Run underrated? Do you like the scene where they pretend that they lost valuable jewelry and then leave and say they will pay a high reward over the passerby finds the jewelry and gets paid? I haven't seen another Midnight Run, another Midnight Run. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, the original Midnight Run is one of my faves. You know, Grodin and De Niro, just their comedy. I never knew De Niro was that funny. You know, he's funny and king of comedy and all that, but he's not really hilarious to me until that. You know, most folks probably stumbled onto him being funny in the Meet the Fockers and all that. So here we see the like sort of Egyptian mummy lady that they have locked up in this block of ice, and it's Pam Grier. She's like this seductress, and that's one of the things I like about this movie was made and it's supposed to represent a time where racism was very heavy, but they admit just flat out it's like no, Pam Grier is beautiful no matter what. She's a like an amazing woman to have lure these men in and stuff. So can never go wrong with Jackie Brown, Foxy Brown, all your Browns. Royal Dano in the dark Half is great. I don't know if I don't remember him in that. I remember the Dark Half. I was talking to my wife about it a couple days ago when we were watching The Monkey. I was like, this reminds me of the Dark Half a little bit. Um, do some Pesci from Home Alone now, please. Never mind. Palm trees will endure, right? Charlie Hunnam, the cutest man on earth. He pretty cute, I guess. I suppose. What's the best machine in a movie? Oh boy, that's a tough one. Maybe Charlie Hunnam in the Pacific Rim thing. What about Spectre Man? Is that considered a machine? Uh, the original Adam West Batmobile. I don't know. There's a lot of what's the best machine in a movie? The Time Machine, H.G. Wells. They mentioned the North Pacific thing a couple times, and it reminded me of Echo. Echo. What special features do you want for this price commentary? For this, I don't know. I would be interested in making of because, like I said, the whole story with them going so far over budget and firing the guy who scored it and bringing in someone new to completely redo the music, and I'd like to see a troubled production documentary. Like, have you ever seen Full Tilt Boogie? It's a movie about the making of From Dusk Till Dawn. It's like an awesome making of. It's better than some stuff that's supplemental material on a DVD. It's much better than that. I'd like to see that type of movie about the making of. The Disney people hassling them like, why's it got to be so scary? Walt wouldn't approve. So there, the Dark Carnival train is coming to town, and the kids, sneak out of the house to go see the Dark Carnival train pull up. And there's like these statues that burst open in the graveyard, and a bunch of crazy red light pours out of them. So it's starting to get like evil is coming. Can you do the who's on first routine? Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know. Who's on third? I mean, I should have said, I don't know, third base, right? By the way, look at you as a Fede Alvarez brother. You look like you could be Fede Alvarez's brother. I will take that if my homie will hit me for a loan. Over under 5.5 kills for It Follows sequel. Um, no, that one I'm curious about a sequel for it. I've heard that they're making one, but it That's another one we'll probably watch on the channel at some point because there's subtext to it, and that's always things I enjoy about a film is I'm watching a story and it's about something, but it's also about humanity and things that are going on that have nothing to do with this story. So it follows is a half a zombie movie type thing, a stalker movie, but really it's about like teen fear of sex and venereal diseases and unwanted pregnancies and all sorts of underlying things that the movie never really talks about, but it's the fear of losing your virginity movie. um who would you want for a live action Three's Company? Who wouldn't I want for a live action Three's Company? I don't know. That's a toughie because I'm not familiar with a lot of good modern comedic actors. They'd probably just take somebody from Saturday Night Live. Like Pete Davidson is Jack Tripper, and I'd be like, no thanks. Um, I don't know. Paul Rudd is Jack Tripper. That feels natural. It's too on the nose, is what it is. Maybe like what's his name, Jason Sudeikis or Dax Shepard. There, I don't know. I'm just making up silly names now. So here the kids are sneaking in, spying around the carnival, and they're looking at old timey pictures, and there's a tarantula. This in William Shatner's Kingdom of the Spiders messed me up on tarantulas for my entire life. I can't even see one on TV without being kind of half creeped out. And then we cut to Pam Grier, and she's got the cool veil that looks like spider webs all over her, and her hands are covered in these webby things, and she's petting the tarantula. Jason Robards is leaving his job at the library and he feels that like evil's in town. He's just like looking around like, something's amiss. And it is, Jason. Jason Robards throws me off because he looks too old to be a Jason. Like it looks like he should be like Ernie Robards or Bud Robards. Mr. Dark, Albert Finney. Oh, I would take that. Marlon Brando, Robert Preston, James Cone, Alain Delon. That's not bad. What about my man from Jaws? What's his name? Robert Shaw. How about him? Um, Actually, what would be good is Robert Vaughn. Mr. Dark, let's see here. Shooter McGavin actor replaces Robert De Niro character and has Jeffrey Tambor and Kathy Moriarty. I love that one. Really, for the I'm assuming the Midnight Run sequel. I never saw it. I might check it out if you say it's worth watching. Cast Adam Sandler in the new Dark Half. I might be interested in that. Favorite troubled production documentary? Yeah, I would probably say it has to be that uh the Dr. Moreau one. Did you ever watch that? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. It's on Netflix, or at least it was. And they talk about like how they fired the director, but somehow he like left the island and then snuck back onto it. And there's thoughts that he was like spying on the production and monkeying with like causing. I don't know. It's just insane. Watch the documentary about the Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, Dr. Moreau. That one's wild. Pete Davidson. Yeah, you get me. Did you watch The Home with Pete Davidson? I did not watch The Home with Pete Davidson. Last thing I saw Pete Davidson in that I liked was Suicide Squad, because as soon as you see him, you think, oh no, Pete Davidson's in this. This is going to be that kind of movie. And then he gets shot in the face or whatever right away. And you're like, okay, this is going to be awesome. Um, Actually, I hear that what's it called, King of Staten Island or whatever. I hear that's a very good movie. I should watch it, but I don't know. There was he was overexposed too much. There was too much Pete Davidson for a minute. Get stuck on the Ghost Mansion ride while watching Spice World for 3 days, and then be locked in a funhouse in a dark ride for a shocker for 3 weeks with full buffet in the dark. Wow, you have good scenarios. Yeah, I'll get locked in the Disney Haunted Mansion ride for a couple days and have to watch. Um, I don't know. I may watch this. Jason Horowitz is awesome in this, and A Thousand Clowns. I don't think I've seen A Thousand Clowns. Jason Horowitz is awesome in this, A Thousand Clowns. Yeah, Robards. Yeah, Robards was around most of my life and stuff, but I've never been like, ooh, Robards. Let's look and see. What is Robards' most famous role? He passed away in 2000. He was born in 1922. So, yeah, this movie's from 1983. Holy crap, we have the same birthday. And he's from Chicago, Illinois. So, shout out to Jason Robards. Where is the best known for? That's always my favorite. Um, There it is, movies and shows. He's best known for Once Upon a Time in the West, The Ballad of Cable Hogue, All the President's Men. Yeah, I remember that. Magnolia, of course. Parenthood. Yeah, he's good in Parenthood. Dream a Little Dream. Yeah, of course. Something Wicked This Way Comes. Philadelphia. He was good in Philadelphia. Wasn't he what, like Tom Hanks's lawyer boss or whatever? Max Dugan Returns. Oh, I remember that. That was a I. My parents and I were on vacation, and they went golfing and other stuff, and the kid was just kind of there playing in the hotel. So they were like, "Well, let's take the boy to see a movie. What do you want to see?" So they let me pick, and I picked Max Dugan's Returns. And then for like 20 years, they mentioned like, "I can't believe you picked that movie, dude." I was like, "What? It looked fun. I was a little boy. I wanted to see something cute and family related." So yeah, shout out to Max Dugan Returns. Not a very good movie, but it'll always have a special place in my heart. Tora Tora Tora. There you go. Little Big League, The Good Mother, The Iceman Cometh. There you go. So, anyways, yeah, shout out to Jason Robards. You were old my whole life. Um, If I stay awake again, we watch Child's Play 1, 2, or 3. Man, I owe you another watch along so bad. I miss talking with you. You are like one of my most favoritist people. So we need to work that out. I'm so far behind on like coordinating watch parties. Our friend Gareth, Video Tasties, sent me a list stack of movies that he was going to do for September. And I went through streaming and I checked to see all of them, what was available and what wasn't. And nothing was available except for Hunt for Red October. And I knew our friend Jeff, Bronson 101, 101 Bronson, whatever, Jeff, he's the man. Uh, Jeff, he needs to be there to do the accent and the impressions. So I tapped out on that one. So hopefully, coming up soon, I can get together with Gareth. Matt Pugwall and I were just discussing how we need to watch Ricky O or some other crazy horror movie soon. My friend Horror Cat Dad there, Larry and I, we have a big long list of stuff to watch together. There's movies I don't even want to watch on the channel unless I watch them with Larry. I can't watch Creature from the Black Lagoon unless Horror Cat Dad's there. How am I supposed to enjoy Prince of Darkness if Larry can't explain it to me? Um, Also, my friend Russell, Texas Hardcore, where we're hoping to get together and watch a couple. I got a couple things picked out that I think are his sensibilities, and we'd like to do something. But my friend Charlotte Nightwolf has been trying to get me to come on her show for a minute. I'm so far behind. I never realized being a parent would just take up all your time. That was a gross miscalculation on my big giant dumb part. Um, as a replacement father in A Thousand Clowns, he and Martin Balsam and Lee Remick, maybe. I don't know if, yeah, I don't remember A Thousand Clowns. I'm sure that's one I've heard of, just never seen. I have a real weak spot with, kind of pre 70s, well, mid to late 70s and earlier. I make sure to see all the big classics, but the other sort of hidden gems. I think there's one called like The Tattooed Man or The Illustrated Man or something. It's a Ray Bradbury deal, and it's like a dude's got tattoos, and each tattoo tells like an anthology story and stuff. Like that sounds right up my alley, but a lot of things I'm just so far behind on. So now we see the House of Mirrors, and the teacher comes out, and she's like, it looks like she's just been stoned. I said, "Hi, kids, what's up?" It's like, wow, what are you guys doing in there? What's her name? Ralph Monroe. Welcome to parenthood, right? I'm supposed to be on everyone's channel at some point, but I'm busy like a bee, right? That's what I'm saying, man. It's like just between the little things, I've got to pick one kid up from their school function thing, got to get the other one ready, blah, blah, blah. I ain't going to bore people with parenting, but yeah, that's amazing how much. The reason this channel started is because I was a single man up in the middle of the night. I had endless time to plan and talk. And now it's like, man, if I could get like 2 hours to sit down and watch a crazy movie with my friends. Um, but you know how it is. You wouldn't trade it for a world. This week, I taught my son and my daughter how to ride a bike. Well, me and my wife both did. It was a very sweet thing. We went out, no training wheels, got them to ride the bike. Uh, Kids are learning instruments at school, all that stuff. So it's all just very, I don't know, means a lot. Speaking of kids, yesterday was my goddaughter Ava's birthday. My niece, as I often refer to her. So if she's watching this, shout out to Ava. I love you very much. Happy birthday, sweetie. I said sweetie in a real like weird way. I was like, Ava, monkey head, I love you. So here's the part where the guy who runs the barber shop goes to the, sort of mystic Pam Grier, and she's got these crazy like spider web veil all over her face. And like I said, he gets turned into the bearded lady at the carnival. Uh, what does Pam Grier say of this movie? I don't know. Maybe you know. Yes, remake The Illustrated Man. Joel Silver tried to, but he's been sanctioned. I don't mean. Remake Yentl. Yentl's another one I'd be curious to see them make. Oh, that's awesome. Enjoy them kids. They grow fast. My daughter just started pre-K. Yeah, right now I got the whole variety. I have a 9, a 6. My daughter will be 1 on in 15 days, and maybe to be continued. We'll see. Barbershop Pam Grier is great. Uh, Yeah, the guy with the so here we also see now the guy who runs the cigar shop is going to get on the Ferris wheel, and there's Pam Grier once again, the like beautiful succubus. She's got like this just light beautiful white outfit and a hat with a veil, and you know normally probably in this era this guy would be like, well, I'm not going to sit on the same seat with a woman who ain't white. But no, they're just like, no, it's Pam Grier. Is shut up and just get on the seat, dummy. There's what's his name too? The little man. I can't think of his name. Why am I drawing a blank? Phil Fondacaro. I couldn't draw. I think of his name. Phil Fondacaro, the little man who's in all sorts of awesome horror movies and things. This is one of his first deals. Um, he's one of those that guys that turns up all the time. He's the good little person, not like a bad little person like Ed Gale. Never mind. Keep that shut. Barbershop art is great. Yeah, I love it. So here we see the kids, the classic peeking in the tent to see what's going on at the carnival, and there's the belly dancing ladies and stuff. Lots of perfect eye hole size holes in tents and fences for kids back in the day, right? That was like 90% of all information for children were spied through a hole in a glass or in a cloth or a fence. So yeah, here we are with the belly dancers, and there's Pam Grier once again. It's like she's everywhere. She's like Whitney Houston. She's every woman. And here, my man, he's just got yeah. He dreams of like being this ladies' man and having all these women like fawn over him. So we see these belly dancers like caressing him and undressing him, and he's just laughing and loving it up or whatever. It's like little do you know, you about to be a lady. Do you like Hackers? I do. I haven't seen it enough, but and there's the other little man that's in this. What's his name? The guy who plays Master from Master Blaster in Beyond Thunderdome. Um, where is his name? They don't have him on here. Damn it. You know who I'm talking about. Angelo Rosito. Yeah, he's awesome. He was like in I think a couple Twilight Zones and things. But that's part of one of the many beautiful things about this movie. It's because it's a carnival. The cast is forced to be diverse. So it's so like there's actors who are missing limbs, and there's all sorts of just a variety of crazy people because it's supposed to be this like circus carnival thing. So it's got this very boring, bland, white bread town, green town. And then just all the wildness of the world shows up there. Things that they've never seen before, adventures none of these people will ever have. And now they've discovered the carousel. And I believe the deal with the carousel is if you go forward, it makes you older. If you go backward, it makes you young. Is that what it is? I think maybe it's the other way around. But yeah, you can ride the carousel and it will transform you. Regarding Hackers, sorry. Hackers is one I've seen a handful of times, mainly just because it was the movie that Angelina Jolie met, what's his name, Johnny, whatever, her first husband. Um, and then, it's too like cool for its own good. Like, I don't know. I enjoy it and it's very edgy. It's got a kind of a matrixy vibe to it with like the band of hackers and all that. But, yeah, I think it gets overshadowed by the Matrix, perhaps. So here's Jonathan Price's first appearance, Dark's Pandemonium Carnival. and he's dressed in like this like Undertaker outfit. It's pretty much exactly what the Undertaker has on. Like it's the big black thing. Sorry, here he's showing Will Nightshade his forearm. He's got all these tattoos on side of him, and he's like wiggling his hand, and it looks like almost spider's web, like a kaleidoscope on his arm. And he's staring him into the eye and just like soaking up his thoughts and dreams and stuff. Like the question is whether or not he is truly just the devil in this. Like that's what I always think of him. He's basically the devil incarnate, but he's pretty much just generic evil. He doesn't need to be the devil or a demon or some sort of demon, some sort of practitioner of the dark arts or whatever. He's just evil. That's all he needs to be. James Earl Jones and Conan. It's like you don't need much more description other than he's part snake. So here the kids are planning to come back after dark again and play in the carnival. Mischievous Will Nightshade, I tell you. Tom Cruise call you and says he wants to do a commentary with you. Which movie do you choose in commentary with him? I don't know. Tom Cruise, I enjoy a fair amount. What would I watch them? He's so weird. I would probably watch like oh god, what's the one where they're in the military school? I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. Um, yeah, I can't remember. Whatever his first one is. Actually, I'd like to sit and watch The Outsiders with him because he has a very small role in that, and let him just talk about everybody else. Tell me what a great guy Patty Swayze is, or how much fun it is to work with Emilio Estevez. He's a great guy, yeah. So here's the scene. Wow, it's shot in a crazy fisheye lens. Here's the scene where the big muscle-bound dude, like the big redhead henchman for Jonathan Price, he gets on the merry-go-round, and it starts going backwards. And I'm waiting to see what the effects look like. It's very blurry. There's lots of it looks like overimposed, whatever. He's laying down many levels, and they're running the same film kind of on top of each other. Um, and we see weird, big, strong, bald man with a big red-headed mustache and all this. He goes back to being like a little boy, and he's mean. He's like the I don't know caretaker for the teacher. She introduces them later on. Is this my nephew? Each of the people in town, whatever like bargain they strike up with Dark, it like I said, it's a Faustian bargain. Whatever they want, it sort of backfires on them, and it reminds me almost like several series of Twilight Zones strung together. Bradbury did stuff for Twilight Zone, so it makes sense. But yeah, so there he is. Now he's gone back around the merry-go-round several times, and he's just like a little like big cheeked little boy now. It's funny. Let's see here. Tropic Thunder. Just kidding. Yeah, right. Are they ever gonna make that movie about him? What's his name in that? I can't even remember. Sal Smilak or some crap. Whatever his name is in that movie. They're supposed to make. He's supposed to get his own film, and I don't know how they're ever gonna do that. Tom Cruise makes these big like $200 million minimum movies. So how are they gonna make a movie about that? Movie producer or whatever. So now the heroes, the young boys, they're chasing the little kid who was previously a big goon back into town. Yeah, all this reminds me of the town I grew up in. That's what it's based on. Just these old brick buildings and the glass storefronts and stuff. A lot of areas when you go to the downtown area, where they first built the town and everything built up around it, and then downtown becomes kind of a less desirable place because it's old. So there, the barber has a big sign up on his thing: closed due to illness. And all this is total, To Kill a Mockingbird, white picket fences and all these farmhouses and these, scamp kids out running around. There they see the teacher with the little kid who was previously an adult. I need a ride on this, right? I do too. That's what I was mentioning about the part later on where the devil's Jonathan Price, whatever you want to call him, he's offering Jason Robards. He's like, "Tell me where the kids are. You know what? How'd you like to be 30 again? Or 25?" And he's like, "You know what? You took too long. 26." 27. He's like, how about 30? Still young enough to learn how to swim? Because there's this whole subplot where his son almost drowned and he wasn't able to swim. So Will Nightshade's dad jumped in the river and saved his son. And so for the rest of his life, he has like this, like, I don't know, weakness, impotency about him. He feels like he's nothing because somebody else had to save his son from drowning. And just watching the part where Price is telling him the years 30, 35, 40, gone, gone, gone. Like that to me is like, it's almost like watching someone just get repeatedly cut or something. Like, no, give those years back, you bastard. This little ginger kid is scary as hell. No offense to my redheaded friends out there, but yeah, this is where the stereotype comes from. He's frightening. Uh, Same religious movie banned it from being played in the local areas. Oh yeah, that was another thing. People were surprised that Disney would do something scary like this that made evil look alluring. Like that's one of the things about this is evil is incredibly seductive in this. It's not grotesque and frightening, like Hellraiser. This is like it's you see how people would be attracted to what he's offering. I love this movie. Thanks for selecting one. This one I mentioned up at the front of the show has been on my list to do from day one because it's one of my favorite. Like Sean said, start watching it early Halloween season. A few months, a few weeks out from when you start watching your horror movies or whatever, because it's a perfect. Just it's start to get spooky. The world's about to get creepy. So I've been wanting to watch this one for like, whatever, 2, 3 years since I've been doing these commentaries now. And this one never on streaming. And I felt bad doing it with one of my personal copies because it's hard for anybody else to find it to watch along or to refresh their mind of what they were seeing. Um, like I said, now that it is on Disney Plus, I think most folks should check it out because it's kind of a rare cult classic. It ended up, it found a home on home media. So here the kids are terrified and they're running home and the one kid, the blonde-haired kid, runs into Jason Robards and just that feeling of and then he realizes it's his father. And you see sort of their connection when they look each other in the eyes, like how much they understand and trust each other, even though there's like a, whatever, 50-year age gap between them. And Will's mother's played by what's her name? Diane Ladd. She's really good. Or Jim Nightshade. I keep calling him Will Nightshade. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I would recommend that people watch this because it's one of the better non-scary horror. Well, I don't know how to word this. It's kids can watch it. Like I'm always shocked that Poltergeist is PG. I'm not sure all little kids could handle Poltergeist. I think most little kids can handle this and sort of absorb the scary ideas in it without maybe having horrific nightmares. But, you know, it's been 30 something years, 40 years since I first saw it. And the scene where he comes up and he holds his hands up and he's got tattoos inside each of his hands. Have you seen this boy? Have you seen this boy? And then he crushes his hands and the blood's run out. That scene's haunted me for like, like I say, 40 years. This thing's terrifying. The scene with the spiders that's coming up, terrifying. I'm clearly disturbed by that whole pulling years away out of the book thing. A ginger with freckles. Is this ginger ninja? See, that's what I mean. I hesitate to use the word ginger because it's like I got so many cool friends with red hair and stuff. But ginger ninja's the man. This little creepy redheaded kid, this evil Opie. He's terrifying. But a lot of weird bowl cuts in this, so it's par for the course. So here's where he's explaining how Will Nightshade's dad saved him. Jim Nightshade. I keep doing that. Jim Nightshade's dad has had to save him when he was little, and you can see the like sadness in Robards' face and stuff. Like him being a good stage actor really is important here because you can feel the emotion. He's got his bathrobe on, he's smoking a cigar, explaining to his son how someone else had to save him. All this, yeah, it reminds me so much of like To Kill a Mockingbird. This is Scout talking with Gregory Peck. Such a good movie. Let's see here. Kroll in this big year for spiders, etc. Yeah, Kroll is a classic. That's another one my friend Larry and I have been talking about getting together on because it's such a. That's one that kind of came and went, but lived on cable and VHS, and folks found it and loved it. You know, it's if you like fantasy adventure, you will stumble onto Kroll, the Cyclops, and if you like shurikens in general, you know, just whoa, sorry about that. I almost knocked over everything. So yeah, Robards is explaining to him, just like apologizing to his son. I'm sorry, I didn't save you. Someone else had to. You can blame me. You can blame my father for not teaching me how to swim. But he's just haunted by this like weakness that he wasn't the one to take care of his own seed. Yeah, he's a damn fine actor. It's a shame he wasn't. He was probably too old to be in a lot of stuff from the era that I mostly watch movies from. He just always played the old guy. He's like Wilford Brimley. He's perpetually old. Even when he was 30, he was playing old man roles. I'm here fighting my sleep. It's okay, man. If at any point you need to go to bed, I understand. I do recommend this movie sometime though to chill and watch. You still haven't really gotten to the good stuff yet. We're at the 45-minute mark, 45:04. We're getting ready to come up on our second commercial in this. Um, but yeah, it's an hour and a half to watch, so I'm assuming with the commercials probably an hour and 40. I think it's an hour 37. So yeah, I would recommend it. This is one of the few fall Halloween type movies that's not bad in the afternoon. You know, a lot of scary movies and stuff you need to watch at night. Night adds to the creepiness of watching them. You know, that night all movie talk. That's what I'm here for. Watch it in the middle of the night. That's when it's good. Everybody else is asleep and quiet, and if you hear a noise, it's going to make you jump and all that. But you know, I mentioned Hellraiser earlier. Hellraiser hits different at 1 in the morning than it does at 2:30 in the afternoon. This is one you could watch in the daylight and enjoy it. Yeah. Hugh Grant for new Jonathan Price role? I could see Hugh Grant in that. Have you seen Heretic? I watched that one recently, and Hugh Grant is creepy in that. No, I'm going to finish it. I love you, man. Thank you for riding with me, Queen. Uh, Yeah, but the trying to find the sweet spot now, like I say, I was in Wisconsin and now I'm in Tampa, so there's an hour, I've jumped ahead an hour. I'm East Coast time now. And before I used to start shows at like 12:31, which means I would start them at 1:30 or 2 Eastern time. So I don't know, trying to find the sweet spot of when to do my shows has been hard. And a lot of my usual friends who hang out and contribute just I'm either too early or too late for them. So it's nice to have you here. I've been missing our hangouts and talks and stuff. Like you say, being a parent soaks up all your free time. Ooh, a lot of Halloween commercials though in this. I dig it. There was one for Spider-Man and Venom masks. Here's a thing for Reese's and Kit Kats. What's your favorite Halloween candy? Put it in the comments or the chat. I'd love to know everybody's favorite Halloween candy. I'm a big Reese's peanut butter cup guy, but I do love me a Butterfinger or a Three Musketeers, or as my son calls it, a Three Mosquitoes. He's like, it's a Three Mosquitoes. It's like Musketeers. Well, mosquitoes makes more sense. It's like, yeah, I guess. Um, Caramellos, those little tiny caramellos, but they get squished in the bag if you get them for Halloween. You got to buy them, and eat them just for yourself. You can't get them secondhand. A new horror screenplay that's going to EFM Beach Blanket Blood Bash has many carnival scenes. Carney unscrews the Ferris wheel and kills all. I wouldn't be surprised. Carney's in general just frightening. I don't know. I watch my horror movies before bed, then I pass between Chucky on my way to the bathroom and jump a little. Yeah, yeah. We had a Chucky doll that I used to have out near my stuff in my room, and my daughter would often come in and just sort of stare at it and be like, Chucky. It's like, yeah, settle down. So here's where Ralph Monroe or whatever from Green Acres, this teacher, they only see her as like an old woman who life has passed by, and she looks in the mirror and she envisions herself as like kind of this young Daryl Hannah type, and she transforms into it. She's just so happy. She actually looks like what's her name, Donna, whatever from the Green Beverly Hillbillies. And she's staring at herself, her own beauty, and she's just so happy to be beautiful again. And then minutes later, blindness sets in. Wah, wah, wah. Burner, 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 burner. She's- she had like 1 minute of being happy, and now she's just tripping all over things and falling over the floor. And I think that creepy ginger comes up and looks down at her with an approving look that's scary as hell. Yeah, here he is, little scary corduroy pants. I don't know, a child in a bow tie always scares me. I don't trust him. Uh, M&M's is Mayan's favorite. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, if I could pick any Halloween candy, I would go with a peanut butter cup or a three mosquitoes. The Milky Way isn't bad, although I find the nougat in the Three Musketeers so easy to chew. It's almost like marshmallow fluff or something. It's very easy to absorb. I don't know why that's called nougat. There's nothing nuggety about it. So their old boy Nightshade climbs out the window, and then his friend sees him, and they're gonna run off to the carnival. Well, at first he tackles him. You was gonna run away and leave me, because this little kid just dreams of being grown up. He doesn't have a dad. His mom's trying to find a new husband. He just feels neglected, so he wishes he was grown up already. Most of us who are grown up know it's like, no, stay a kid forever if you can. Peter Pan had it right. The way they dress is like every single person in this town has like a sweater and overalls and one of them hats, like a rerun from What's Happening. Is that what you figured out in your little mind, Jim Nightshade? Yeah, I think the critics who dislike this, their big complaint was that there's a lot of, um, like, schmaltzy coming of age Disney stuff. The town is beautiful and the score is very like soothing and happy. And then the stuff with the carnival, like right now, we just cut to the inside where they got Royal Dano hooked up to the electric chair, and it's all shadowy and dark. Like when they go under there, it looks scary. There's these weird like ballerinas in the background, and Royal Dano explains he's Tom Fury. And basically Jonathan Price tortures him here or whatever, like he's trying to get info. Okay, so that's what up. The cigar guy, the man who ran the cigar shop, gets turned into his own cigar store Indian. Whoa. There's some HD bit of business I've never seen until now. There's like mannequins in the background of this scene, and one of them was like a weird Silence of the Lambs. Like he had boobs but junk, but like it was a mannequin. Normally mannequins aren't that anatomically correct. I don't know what was going on there, especially in a Disney movie. So once again, we get Pam Grier showing up as like this beautiful bride. Once again, wearing the veil. She's always the veiled lady. She has like this wild crown on and stuff. Poor Royal Dano. He even says most beautiful. I can't believe how young Pam Grier still is in this. Like her heyday was slightly before this, like in the '70s with the black exploitation stuff, and then in the '80s there's a resurgence. There's like maybe '90s, like a movie called Original Gangstas, and then yeah, she was in Jackie Brown, and that really revitalized her career. And then she turned up in a lot of stuff after that. But I'm Team Pam Grier all the way. Back from when I was a kid and she was in, the Big Doll House or whatever, the Foxy Brown, Big Bird Cage, whatever the hell it's called. Lots of women in prison for Pam Grier. Lots of kicking ass with bell bottoms on. So yeah, now they're starting to electrocute him. And you know what? The special effects aren't bad. There's a few shots that are whoa. So then Pam Grier turns and we see she's like, kind of this crazy mummy lady. But that effect was mediocre at best. It was clearly like an overlay. They put some sort of post effect on. And there, when they're running out, they see him get the main star of the movie. The what the hell is his name? I keep calling him kid. Uh, Vidal Peterson, Will Holloway. Um, he he sees his own head get decapitated, and it's a real like Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back moment, like when Luke's in the cave and he cuts open Darth's head and he sees his own face in there. It's like that, like the this feeling of if you keep going on the path you're gonna go on, it's gonna lead to death. So now they're running home, and there's this weird green fog following them, and it is a terrible effect. Like it looks hand drawn. I mean, it clearly is. There's no CGI back then. Well, Tron had already come out, and that had CGI in it. So this is they probably should have. All this stuff at night too, and it doesn't appear to be day for night. Like this looks like maybe they shot it at night with just really good cameras. That looks like it's maybe day for night. Back then, a lot of the cameras weren't only the most expensive cameras could deliver quality images at night. Like Carpenter often, like Escape from New York is a classic movie. He had a camera that was designed to shoot at night. Yeah, so there's the creepy fog coming in through the window, and yeah, it's totally hand drawn. It looks mildly ridiculous. That was cruel. Which was what was cruel? The no CGI because all went to Pam's costumes, right? Yeah, the budget for that alone is probably 1 million. And this was filmed in Vermont, but it makes me wonder, like any period piece, is your budget's going to be huge because you got to track down cars from the 1940s or whatever. Actually, like I say, I think this is what is the year on this bitch? Let's find out. Because I always thought it was World War II. The guy was injured in, but I'm wondering not. It doesn't say what specific year it's supposed to be taken in. Let's see. Let's ask Google when does something wicked this way come? When does it take place? Set in the autumn of the mid 20th century. Thanks. Um, yeah, it says here the Disney. It was set in the autumn of the mid 20th century, primarily in the fictional midwestern town of Greentown, Illinois, which serves as a stand-in for Ray Bradbury's childhood hometown. Like I say, Waukegan. The story takes place just before Halloween, mirroring the themes and aging of loss of innocence as a mysterious and sinister carnival. Darks and pandemonium shadow show arrives in town. Yeah, it just says early 20th century, not explicitly stated. I would guess it's after World War II, but then again, the cars look to me like they're from like the 20s or the 30s. And as I was rambling about before I got sidetracked, making a movie like that is super expensive. You got to track down the outfit, the costumes, or you've got to make them, and you got to track down, houses and fixtures in the house and stuff that look of that era. And the bill just starts going up and up and up. That's why a lot of period pieces end up in the Oscar nominations because they appreciate like how much time and money it took to try to get that going. Yeah, a lot of I don't know. So many. It reminds me of so many films of that era. Like I mentioned, Christmas Story. I mentioned uh, To Kill a Mockingbird. Geez, brain went blank. I mentioned To Kill a Mockingbird. It has all of that vibe to it. Just the young kids coming of age, trying to make sense of things. The adults are doing what adults do. And here's the part I was talking about earlier. The one kid runs across the roof and goes in the window and goes in the bedroom of the other kid, and they know that evil has overtaken their house. And then I think that's when the spiders show up. They hear evil up on the roof thudding around. That's a cool shot. Way overhead push in. That means you probably had to remove the ceiling, or on the set you built to like have no ceiling. Kind of a crane shot in a small bedroom. So now the ceiling's cracking open and the paint's peeling back, and they're like, "What's going on?" And then they hear, they look over, and it's just a diversion. In the windows, all these spiders, and there's this jump scare of just 100, tarantulas pouring in through the window. It almost reminds me, like I mentioned, of that scene in The Gate, where they close the door on the arm of that thing, and it the little demon, and it breaks off, and then it turns into a bunch of little slithers, and it goes away. So yeah, he opens up the door, and there are just tarantulas everywhere. Now they're falling in through the ceiling. Yeah, this is making me very uncomfortable. My wife doesn't like the way I say comfortable. She's a stickler about the traditional saying of comfortable. So pardon my over enunciation. Yeah, the one runs up and hides in the bed and then pulls the blankets up over him, trying to hide in the most childish of ways. I don't know what spider wrangler they had, but there are 100 tarantulas here. Big close-ups of them crawling on the kids. Yeah, it reminds me of Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner. Oh, there he stepped on one with a bare foot. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, this as you can see, it's bothering me to this day. And now the creepy scene where he's covered up in bed and he's hiding and he's just terrified, and you see the blankets just like wiggling as we can't see the spiders, which is even scarier. And he pulls back the sheets. Oh, and there's like 50 tarantulas in his bed. And then that flash you just saw in my face, that was a big lightning strike that hits the lightning rod that they installed from the beginning of the movie, the one they bought from Royal Dano. And they wake up from a dream. It was all a dream. One of my least favorite movie tropes. I hate anytime something scary or truly bad happens and then they just wake up. Huh, it was all a dream. Because it gives you license to do anything. Like you can just take it back. Oh, so and so died. Oh, it was a dream. Never mind. They're back now. And then fun little jump scare. He steps on something on the floor and he realizes it's his little drumming tin man. I hate it too, right? Those spiders. It's just the part where he stepped on the one with his bare foot. Mm. So now we have to wash away the scariness and the evil of that last scene. We cut to them in church. Jason Robards and his wife and kid are there, and Diane Ladd and old Jim Nightshade. So here's the part we're looking for. This is the good stuff. The carnival's walking through town, and Jonathan Pryce is leading them, and he's got his Undertaker outfit on. He's got all these little people dressed like clowns, and they're playing instruments, and the folks that he's already turned over are walking through a parade, and he goes up to Jason Robards and he shows him his hands, and he has the boy's the face tattooed on his hands. Have you seen this boy or this boy? And I'm covered in tattoos, but somehow the pictures of those kids' faces on those tattoos is extra. Just what are you doing? Yeah, they're on the old timey, the horn that you put up to your ear. They're on that kind of phone. The crank on the side. I'm on the blower. Sarah, put me through to Bellevue 614. One of those. So this has to be 30s at least. So maybe old buddy was injured in World War One. We'll say that. He's injured in the Spanish American War. How about that? So yeah, they're hiding in the gutters or whatever down in the sewers and spying on the parade as it comes through, and it's just full of just craziness, clowns and trumpeters and Royal Danos being carried like a king with a bunch of executioners. Wow, they have one black person in town. I just found the town's black person. Good job. Oh, there's two. Oh, see, this town isn't as crackery as I thought it was. They got an integrated 1930s town. Good for you guys. There's the barber guy as the bearded lady now. And all this feels like, yeah, like I say in a Christmas Story, when the Wizard of Oz parade comes and Santa's coming, Santa's coming. So Jim's mother's looking for him, and one of the little people tells him, "Go to the carnival. You'll find him there." Sorry, I'm caught up in this. This is some good act. This is one of the more chilling parts in it, where they're slowly going through the town and overtaking it. I'd like to see a sequel to this. Maybe the Dark Carnival comes rolling up a cul-de-sac, and then the end of the road they take over and they start snatching up people from the block. Who would I have for Jonathan Price nowadays? That's a toughie. Who would you cast in modern day for a sequel to this? Is the devil incarnate? And as this parade is walking through the town and all the townspeople are going nuts, like, yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. Jonathan Price is just like got this just he's hunting. He's walking around looking at everything, trying to find those two kids. So it doesn't feel like he's the proprietor of a carnival. It feels like he's a creepy evil man on the hunt. Yeah, here he comes in. He talks to um Jason Robards and the guy who runs the bar, and he's like, "I'm looking for two boys," not knowing that it's his son. These boys in particular, two of a kind, much of a height, one tow-headed, the other black as pitch. You could take them for blood brothers. Yeah, a lot of the dialogue in this super, poetic prose. Even something wicked this way comes. That's from Shakespeare. I really wish them. Yeah, I wish to give them free rides to the carnival. Can you help me? Scary ass. No, I can't help you do nothing. Why don't you go find Paul Bearer and get out of here? Oh, Undertaker. So here the kids are hiding down in the sewer, and they reach up through the sewer grate and they grab the dad's foot, and then just then Mr. Dark comes up behind him. He's like, "Oh, all the folks around here seem to be taking a holiday, huh?" Noticing that the town is slowly losing like the cornerstone. All the people that run everything are slowly disappearing. The pillars of the community are gone, I say. Where am I going to buy a good cigar? Robards' face is amazing in this. So yeah, we're at the part now where Jonathan Price is opening his hands and he's like, "I'm looking for this boy and this boy." And there's like perfect portrait tattoos on the inside of his hands of the kids. And Jason Robards' face is like, a ghost. And now he gives them fake names. That's Will Blumquist and Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson, former coach of the San Antonio Spurs. That's a deep cut for basketball fans. Um, So here, Jonathan Price says, "I know you're lying. I already know their names." Just showing like his power and the way he like speaks to him so condescending. Like, how dare you lie to me? I'm so much smarter and stronger than you, old man. Now tell me, old man, what's your name? Would Kurt Russell have made Arachnophobia better? I think Kurt Russell makes everything better. So there, the tattoo on the hand, he's like squeezing it while he's talking, and blood starts like dripping out of his palms and stuff. And Jason Robards is selling the hell out of this. Sometimes a man can learn more from other men's dreams than his own. But there he's kind of giving him a little bit of wisdom, and Jonathan Price is like, "Oh, you smart, huh?" She says, "Mr. Dark got that Riz, right? Doesn't he? What would be your old timey swimwear?" "Oh, I definitely have that old Pugsley from Adam's Family. Or like Gomez used to wear the stripy deal, Charlie Chaplin." So glad I made it for some of this. Well, I'm glad you are here, 59th. That's my guy. I'm glad to see you here. I figured you'd probably be familiar with this one. You like all the good classics. Uh, Once again, if you've seen this before, anybody in the chat or listening, feel free to put in the comments or the chat now. Let me know if you've seen this. I feel like it's an underground, like, a cult classic. It's a gem that the people who love it, and the other folks are like, something they made me watch in school one time. The special effects are amazing in this film. Disney Imagineering played around with the Fantasia on live film techniques. Yeah, that's what some of it feels like. It's like Fantasia. This is true Disney horror, right? Hey, 59th. Hey, hello, man. Good to see you, Fred. Good to see you. Everybody loves man. Everybody loves 59th. So here, this little kid throws Jason Robards the football, and he looks him up and down. He's like, "Wait a minute, didn't you used to be the like town football hero, and now you're a little boy again?" Yep, got the same football jersey on and everything. The old gray ghost ass. So now the kids are still hiding, and Jason Robards sort of whispers to him, like, stay low and then come to the library later tonight. I'll protect you. And you can see, like, Jason Robards' whole thing is that he feels horrible that he wasn't man enough to protect his son when he almost drowned. But at every crucial point in the movie, when he's really scared, his dad's there for him and provides like that, the comfort and the strength that he needs to lean on. So it's weird. Jason Robards beats himself up for something that he shouldn't be. He's clearly doing everything he's supposed to do, but he holds that one mistake against him. Uh, I got the leg back, right? I just watched this about 3 months ago. Clipped some shorts out of it in my Nightmare Circus run. I did. Oh, I need to go back and watch that. Yeah, this one. What did you have? A VHS or a DVD of it? I have it on VHS. I have a bootleg DVD copy of the bare bones edition they released. Like, there's nothing on there. There's a it's one of those where they list menu as a special feature, subtitles. It's like special features, captions. VHS copy here. Yeah, I got the old VHS. It's one from a video store, so the cover's all like sun faded and stuff. But when I found an old video store selling it, it was like, I'll be taking this, thank you. This movie haunted my childhood. A special feature menu, LOL, the glory of DVD, right? Some of those you would get, and you would be like, you'd flip it over, and it would be like, special features include a menu, stereo sound, original mono track. Man, shut up. I can call a local lawyer and get a Winters and Yonker. I can call him right now and get a free quote. You guys want to make up a fake lawsuit and call him real quick? So there we see the outside of the library, and for a small town, this library is huge. Like their library is in the old clock tower building from Back to the Future. Yeah, and the kids fear that they can't defeat Mr. Dark because they're just kids. Meanwhile, Jason Robards feels like he can't defeat him because he's too old. It's a real Goldilocks situation here. At least on VHS, they would put things at the end of the movie. Yeah, the special features on VHS would always be like, after the credits, we had a half hour of tape left. Oh, wow, that's an interesting shot. Um, it's an over-the-shoulder shot of him reading, but they need the shot of what he's reading to be in focus. But the foreground is over their shoulders, so you see the back of their heads and stuff. So it appears that they chroma keyed them or luma keyed them in over the top. So, and in the HD transfer, you can see the lines around Jason Robards' head and stuff. So basically, it's two shots superimposed on top of each other instead of trying to futz with the focal point. Have a big blurry head in the front in the foreground. God, I love a good banker's lamp. Huh? Those weird green lamps that like accountants use and stuff. Favorite carnival ride? Hmm. I like the big slide where they give you the like burlap sack and you go up to that big thing. You like I said, I don't like heights, so if I can make it up the thing to get to the top, I'm usually cool with the rest. But never been in one of those floor drop dealies like in Totally Killer or Stranger Things or whatever, the spinny room. Never been in one of those. I'm too much of a coward for that. Like I say, I don't trust man-made inventions, especially carnivals, because they have to take them down, put them up, take them down, put them up. The people they hire, not always the most upstanding of citizens. Fine folks, all I'm sure, but yeah, there's a reason people make talk about carnies. No, I found one of those lamps in my old apartment and I broke it because I thought it was haunting me. Yeah, those old green banker's lamps. They all look the same. So here, the kids are supposed to come to the library. We see Robards in the library, and all of a sudden the heat goes up. We can tell the heat goes up because we see dew on his forehead and the perspiration. And then they cut behind him, and there's Jonathan Pryce reading out of a book. Here's the scene I was talking about where he's like, "Turn him over, and I'll give you years of your life back." But he knows not to fall for it because he's just going to get the old okey doke runaround like the rest of these fools. I'm not trying to end up like that bearded lady. Although he is lovely as a bearded lady. Lots of flowing robes. Yeah, they know he knows that they're in the library. I can smell them. Would you like to be grown up, Jim? How would that feel? He gets like this big soliloquy, and it's like the way the room is set. There's all these like rawhide gates and stuff, and he walks around, and it's very yeah, very Shakespearean. It feels like a Shakespearean villain delivering a monologue. Go ahead and give me your soliloquy of evil, Jonathan Pryce. Yeah, he knows Jim's there and he's calling to him. He's still wearing the gloves, got that little string necktie thing on, looking like Mark Calloway. Rest in peace. So Jason Robards tells him, I know who you are. You are the autumn people. Where do you come from? The dust. Where do you go to? The grave. We are the hungry ones. Your torments call us like dogs in the night. And we do feed and feed well. Sorry, I was just the writing in this Bradbury's prose. Roger Ebert compared it a lot to Hawthorne. You are known in this town. My father knew you. Your father, the preacher, that half man. He lived on goodness, tasteless fare, funerals, bad marriages, lost loves, lonely beds. That is our diet. We suck that misery and find it sweet. We search for more always. Yeah, this all feels like Dr. Sleep with Rose the Hat. Because even Jonathan Pryce wears, that same, tall sort of, what the hell are they called? Stovetop hat, stovepipe hat. Your books cannot hurt me, old man, because your heart is old. Listen to it. And then the score, the soundtrack, the sound effect of his heart gets turned up on the audio. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Tell me where the boys are hiding, and I can make you young again. And once again, Robards is acting his butt off. What do you want to go back to? 30? Speak now, or you've missed it. I want to see when he tears the paper. Yep. Oh, that wasn't bad. See, there's an effect when he tears the paper as he's pulling the years away. 31, gone. 32. They light up and they almost flame as he tosses them to show like how they're being burnt away. The year of a man's prime, loved by many women, still might be able to learn to swim. 32, going gone. 33, 34. And even as just a person sitting here watching this, old timey movie, you're kind of like, go ahead, just jump in at 40, man. Don't lose it all. 35, still young enough to start a family? Run up the steps without panting? 35, gone. 36, gone. 37, gone. 38, gone. And this is what I often tell people. One of the lessons of my life I've learned. No matter what age I am, I always feel like, oh, I'm getting old. I remember when I turned like 24, a handful of my friends were like 23 and 22. So I was the old one. And it's like, no one in their life should ever feel old at 24. And, I remember when I turned 30, like, oh, I'm in my 30s now. I'm not young anymore. And it's like, now you look back at 30, it's like you were a child, you dumb shit. Is that the voice of green grass and sunshine? Sweet Eden's child, the innocent young Will? Tear another page out. 42, gone. 43, 44, 45, 46. Just and Jason Robards, it looks like every year he pulls out of him just sucks a little more life out of him. He's gotten weaker during this scene. Then eventually just throws the book at him like a bad cop. I'm gonna throw the book at you. You damn fool. So here he reaches his hand up to him, and Jonathan Price takes his hand and squeezes it. You can hear the bones crunching, just showing this like display of power. Then they cut to the hand and it splits. And it looks a lot like in that scene in Poltergeist when the guy peels his face off and the meat comes alive and all that. The effects at this point, a lot of good practical effects, but still not perfect at this point. Which is a shame because the thing had already come out. If the thing you stole from the thing to do the credits, why can't you steal from the thing to do your effects? Jim Nightshade, what a proper name for a carnival. Carnival, dark and Nightshade's pandemonium. Yeah, just the allure of evil in this. That's all very tempting. It's not like repulsive and scary. It's more, like Pam Grier. It's seductive. It lures you in. Let me see here. Get caught up here. Always saying prayers, waiting in line when they are looking at me. What happened? There are always creepy haunted dolls at the thrift stores when I'm hunting them down VHS tapes. Expensive too, yeah. Thrift stores are good for a creepy doll. Always saying prayers and waiting in line, looking at me. My friend just posted a picture of Santa making a Chucky doll, saying this will teach the kids. Of course, that made man pop. She loves that. This movie watches like a book. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Reads like a book. Santa brings me Chucky goodies every day. Um, that is what some people get turned away by. Yeah, it's very much like a book. I mentioned the main thing I often compare it to is To Kill a Mockingbird or Stand by Me. Um, I think King, like we've talked about before, King has been accused of stealing or reappropriating or however you want to take it. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Bradbury work shows up in King's work. Late Night Duty Call. I love that Price's hat. I want that in that black round derby like the Droogs in Clockwork Orange. Yeah, I was watching the Tree Houses of Horror. I've been trying to get in the Halloween spirit without getting too much into the horror just yet, and especially in the afternoons, I try to find stuff where if the kids come in and see me watching it, they're not like, "What's this?" So I've been watching the Tree Houses of Horror, and Bart in that Alex outfit, painted eye, cod piece. So here's an awesome jump scare with suspense. Very rare in movies like this. He does the Hitchcockian thing where we see the kids hiding and then we see Mr. Dark's hands come up over them. So the hands are slowly about to grab them, but we, the audience, see him and we feel the suspense of like, oh no, they're about to get grabbed, run. But they don't see it. And then the jump to snatch him works as like a jump scare. It's like a very effective old timey technique mixed with new timey technique. Is new timey a thing? Seems like it is. Howdy Acres, Flames the Papers. Many good moral lessons in this film. Song of the South actually has that going on too, strange as it sounds. I've never seen Song of the South. I mean, I've obviously heard of it. It's infamous, but it had some pretty good and important stuff too. I like when it's really like that. Yeah, this in general is fantastic. So here's Pam Grier once again in another one of her awesome outfits. This time she's like back to where she was in the beginning, where she's almost like a mummy or some sort of corpse. She looks, super pale and silver. I think here it reads as more as gold. But that was a cool effect. She's like controlling, I don't know, sand or the wind around her hands, and it looks like she is. For 83, that's a good effect. Yeah, and here he's leaving with the boys, and he tells her, "Give him a brief taste of death." And just the look on her face as she walks forward, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna F you up, dude. You about to get sporked up, homie. Speaking of sporked up, be sure to get your Night Owl Movie Talk Spork t-shirt. There's a link for merchandise in the link below. Always lots of fun stuff going on at the Night Owl Movie Talk merch store. Get yourself some gear. Really, I just want you to wear a shirt that says Night Owl Movie Talk, so when people ask, they have to go subscribe. Speaking of subscribing, I'm only 37 away from 1,000. Feel free to like and subscribe. All right, I'll quit pimping myself out. So here she's moving her hand all like smoothly around his heart, and you can see him draining, and it's all just done with acting and sound effects, but he looks like dead. He went from so like earlier in the movies had so many big living performances where he's acting his ass off, and there he just looks like he's about to die. Robards kills it in this. They used like that Goldfinger paint on her. I'm pretty sure that Goldfinger paint killed that lady in that movie, so she should take a shower. Bush Gardens down the street. um, yeah, I'm like I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from Bush Gardens. All right, so we're at our last commercial. We're at the 121 mark. So there's 13 minutes left. We're coming up to the big finale, the big climax. You know, Mr. Dark has the two kids. He's gonna assume, probably kill the one and turn the other one into like his little partner or his minion. Maybe either both of them. He'll use his Faustian bargain, make them old. Oh, you want to be grown up, huh? How's about 90 suit you, buddy? But then, of course, there's going to be a big showdown at the merry-go-round, which sounds like, that should have been the title, Showdown at the Merry-Go-Round. Or they're really pimping out these local attorneys. I'm so simple. I'm always amazed at the concept of global streaming with commercials that are local. Like every time I'm watching Tubi and they have a commercial for someplace down the street, I'm like, how do they know? Oh, internet, you know so much about me. All right, so there's the last commercial. So here we see Diane Ladd. She's getting ready to go find Will at the gym. I keep wanting to call him Will. I'm gonna call him Will. His name's Will from now on. Just pretend his name's Will. I'm gonna rewrite it. I'm gonna go to Wikipedia and fix that. Um, she's going to go try to find her son. And then when she's going in, Jason Robart stops her and he's like, get the hell away from here. Whoa, there was some big titties. Sorry, breasts. Basically, there's all these painted sculptures of women outside of the dancing ladies tent. And then a bunch of them are wearing like, belly dancer outfits. And then just out of nowhere, there's one with just her boobs hanging out. Like, whoa, what are you doing to me? This is Disney. Put some mouse ears over the nipples or something. Huh? Hey, everybody, my areolas are covered. All right, so Robards has pulled himself back together. Get back in the fight. Damn it, Maverick, re-engage. He got his ass kicked by evil so bad, his hair's blowing. When a wind stays in a library, that's some evil right there. So him and his busted hand are walking back to the carnival. And the cloud work over the top, that looks real. I'm assuming that's probably the bottom half is a an overlay, a matte painting, and then the bottom is probably just the old blow smoke in an aquarium and film it kind of thing. Yeah, Diane Ladd, I only know her as like a middle-aged woman. I don't think I've ever seen her young and stuff. I bet there's probably some old like Twilight Zones and Hitchcocks and stuff where she plays a young woman, but I've only known her as like an older woman and a middle-aged woman. This is 83 and she's playing an older mother. Damn it, get out of here. She just turns around all disillusioned and stumbles home like a jackass. Diane Lane, you are completely, or Diane Lane, Diane Ladd, you are completely ineffectual. Between this and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and Return of the Jedi. It was, little people had their run of Hollywood. There's a lot of parts for some little people back then. So now this is the trippy ending. This is one of the things I remember too. Is he goes into this hall of mirrors, and there's these long, halls of mirrors, duh, and there's smoke everywhere. It looks like Cheech and Chong is in there. Pam Grier's around, maybe they are. So he's walking through like this smoked out. It looks almost like a spaceship or something, and we just keep seeing like different ones in back. It's all kind of like Superman 2 with the end scene where they're, all the different Supermen. And like even there, he turns and looks, and we see five or six different ones, and it's all very spooky. The Funhouse, Hall of Mirrors is a classic horror movie thing. But now we're kind of getting a recap of other things that have happened. One of the mirrors turns into the story of the dude who became the bearded lady. And there's Mr. Tetley, the cigar guy. He had dreams of being rich. We get like a recap of all the little tiny miniature stories that have gone on. I love that title. Thank you. Silent Hill Amusement Park going on. Laughing. Do you like the Cowboy Way? I think I've only seen it once, and I think I might be getting it confused with Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man as far as the plot and everything. But yeah, I kind of vaguely remember the Cowboy Man. Munchkins, Oompa Loompas, right? That's what I'm saying. Late 70s, mid 80s, little people got work. Now they CGI them and stuff. Do like that new Snow White and the Seven Dwarves and have them not be dwarves. So that entrance to the Hall of Mirrors is a fascinating camera angle shot. Yeah, that's the thing. Most people who aren't into filmmaking and camera positioning don't think about how hard it is to film around mirrors because the mirror records the camera. So you have to angle the shot in a way where we can still get the actor in the shot, but we still get the camera in the scene. Nowadays, you can just use, CGI to paint out the camera, but like right here, here's a whole bunch of mirrors in a circle. How do you film that without getting your camera in the scene? Okay, that's kind of a crappy shot, but sort of amazing. Robards looks in a mirror, and there's a still image of him, and there's a horrible uh, dust, like dirt on the on the film gate. And every time they cut to it, and then they do like a slow dissolve, and you watch him get old. I did a YouTube short for the M. Night Shyamalan movie Old, and I did the same thing. I used a app that aged me, and I slowly did a bunch of dissolves and went from, I don't know, young me to old me, and it looked slightly better than what I just saw in this. So there's Pam Grier looking all, yeah, basically she plays like the mummy from the Tom Cruise mummy, like the seductress mummy, the succubus. So here's this big metaphorical thing. He punches through the glass and pulls his son to safety, but he reaches into the river and pulls him out. So it goes back to like his biggest regret, and he gets to make up for the thing that haunts him and holds him down. Like I mentioned earlier, there's several cases where the movie shows us how he's, a competent, strong father who helps his son a lot, but he just feels like he's a failure. He can never make it up to himself. And now Royal Dano escapes, and he's got the lightning rod, and he runs up and stabs Pam Grier with it. And this is pretty cheesy effects. It looks like Flash Gordon, but it gives Pam's been just spending the whole movie as like just kind of the pretty eye candy. So here she gets to have a death scene, and all this falling glass dropping on us. Feels like you're gonna get your eye poked out. And we see the father and son hugging, and Jim Nightshade's gonna go get on the merry-go-round with Mr. Dark. No, we have to go save Jim or Will, one of them. So getting on the merry-go-round. Jim, no. I did clip my own variant of that in the short. Oh, good. I do need to go back and check that out. What are your Mount Rushmore Hall of Hall of Mirrors scenes? Um, oh God, there's been so many. What isn't there? What is it? Enter the Dragon? Is that the Bruce Lee one with the Hall of Mirrors scene? Um, hmm, hmm. To a certain extent, I guess Superman 2. Um, mm, uh, I don't know. That's a toughie. I'll have to Google famous Hall of Mirrors scenes. Let me know your favorite Hall of Mirrors scene in the comments or the chat. So here the merry-go-round is electrocuting Jonathan Price, and he's slowly aging, and it looks a lot like in Return of the Jedi when the Emperor is being electrocuted. And Jason Robards is explaining to his son, the way to fix this problem isn't through sadness and misery. It's to be happy. Dance around, sing, laugh, joy. That's what defeats evil. Don't give in to the sorrow. Go forward with happiness. That's what it'll defeat the dark. And sure enough, there's old Jim/Will back from the dead. And Jonathan Price is getting electrocuted on his damn merry-go-round. And right now he's probably around 90. Heavy duty latex, I'm assuming, for that. Maybe a little bit of overlay. Oh, wow. Yeah. Now, that's straight up. That looks like Big Trouble in Little China. That's actually pretty good. It's a latex dummy, and it's wow. That was really good. Yeah, the effect on Jonathan Price getting old and being killed by the merry-go-round, that stands up to anything now. That's actually a really good shot. It looks like Life Force. His old all the people who were changed over now are slowly changing back and running back to their homes, and the town starts raining. Yeah, and that corpse of Jonathan Price rolls off the merry-go-round and slams onto the ground. And here's a straight Master Blaster. Yeah, Master Blaster picks him up. Come to me with Barter Town. We make guano. All right, I'm going to say goodnight here because I got to go to bed. Catch you all next time down. Man, I love you so much. Thank you for coming here and hanging out. You are the coolest. You are my Pam Greer. Thank you for luring all these folks in with the chat with us tonight. It's good to have you here. I'm glad you got to see this for the first time with me. I feel honored. You'll never look at hand tattoos the same, I bet. The lightning rod salesman, hello, the carnival ride owner, and Ghoulies too. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Later, man. Witch Mountain Hall of Mirrors, FX, Lady from Shanghai. FX is a good one. That's a wild ending. The face melt is pretty awesome, right? I've never seen it in HD before, and that really stood up. Like there was another overlay shot. They had the silhouettes as they watched the big town, go into a tornado, and the whole pandemonium carnival gets sucked up and pulled into the sky. And the silhouettes in the front were clearly, animation, but it looked pretty awesome. And that's a matte painting. Clearly, it's a long shot of the town. The people are in the foreground running, and where the green is a cut, I'm assuming, is where the field ends, and the rest is a painting. Oh, this is beautiful. Just the fall, green, yellow, red, orange. You can almost smell the air when they run. Is that Master Blaster? Yeah, he's from Bada Town. Both of them. My two favorite little people is what's his name? Phil. I was just saw it earlier. I never remember their names. Uh, Master Blaster's Angelo Rosito. He's in a bunch of old like Twilight Zones and stuff. He's a classic little person actor. He's sort of awesome. He's got that big smile. He's been perpetually old too. And then Phil Fondacaro. I can never say his name right. He's been in all sorts of stuff though. The full moon features and all that. And then here it wraps up with them walking home back through the town, and everything's back to normal, and he's got both kids under his arm, and life is good and everything's okay, and they basically just explain love one another. Perfect ending. We have talked about this so many times before on movies like this. they defeat the monster and then they spend the rest of the like another 10 minutes farting around. Like this doesn't do that. The monster's defeated, they walk home, we see they're safe, credits. None of this like epilogue nonsense where we waste a bunch of time thinking about what we've had happen. Um I need to get a Blu-ray of this movie. I've always seen it on VHS in my life. Yeah, it's currently on Disney Plus. I would recommend getting a 7-day thing and watching it there. But apparently, the Blu-rays were limited. Only the Disney Movie Club members got the offer, so it's out of print now. So um, the DVD I found a friend had, and I got a rip of it. But I saw it once at a store and didn't buy it, and have kicked myself ever since. It was one of those like we joked about earlier, special features menu. So there it is, Walt Disney Productions. Arguably Disney's scariest movie. I would say Disney's scariest. If you got another one, put your contender in the chat or the comments. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. This is using this to kick off my Halloween content, my Dontent. Um, Coming forward, I figure this is the perfect entry into spooky season. Throw another coin into Scrooge McDuck's pile. Um, wow, they are guarding this movie, right? I had mentioned before you got on. 2 days ago on Disney Plus is the first time this has ever been on streaming. It's even in like the Wikipedia. October 3rd, 2025 is the first time it's ever been available on streaming. I was so caught off guard. Um, this past week, I wanted to do The Warriors, and that the night I was good. Well, actually, I was going to do The Matrix, and because I watched Tron, so of course I got to watch The Matrix. So I was going to do The Matrix and watch it with you guys. So I go to put it on. It's been moved from MGM Plus or whatever it is to somewhere else now. So I don't have it on one of the services. I have it now. It's on Sling. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll do The Warriors instead. So I go to put The Warriors on, and it's been moved from Amazon Prime, no longer on there. So then I go to Tubi, and I'm like, I want to watch American Movie. That's a good kickoff for horror movies. Nope, it's off of Tubi. So the lesson here is own your movies. Home media rules, all right? Streaming, you're at the mercy of these companies. It's like glorified cable channels. Um, so when I saw this pop up, I had the feeling of like, oh, the streaming gods giveth and the streaming gods taketh away. So I had to jump on this before I was afraid I was going to wake up and it'd be gone. Yes, I need the DVD then. LOL for that menu special feature. I only have one VHS. Yeah, my VHS is old. Like I say, it's a 480p whatever. Like it's faded from the years of sitting in the sun in a video store, but I had to have one. No black hole beats this one. I don't know about that as far as scary. Black hole's scary, but it's also got a lot of goofy. That floating robot is so stupid. But anything with Anthony Perkins is scary, right? Ford River Key scene, maybe. Is that the prequel to Event Horizon? No, that is the prequel to Event Horizon. I have the Warriors DVD special edition. Yeah, I have a ton of stuff that I wanted to watch. All those ones I mentioned, I have them all on DVD or Blu-ray. But I like to watch stuff streaming, so at least the audience for the first initial, month this is out has a chance to watch it too. Later on, I figure folks who watch these are either very familiar with the movie or have just watched it and are thinking about it. And it's like, I need someone to explain that to me. Hey, 59, Sean says, yo, quoting American movie. Um, it's all right. It's okay. Yeah. American movies, so funny. The other day I told somebody, hey, my soda's over there. Can you move my Dr. Pepper? And they looked at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's a quote nobody anywhere should get. You either rent or own the digital streaming versus physical media war, right? That's the thing. I'm so glad when streaming became available. I thought, oh well, there's going to be no need for my old collection. I probably should start selling it before it's not worth anything anymore. And then I never did sell any big pieces of my physical media collection. And I'm so glad I didn't because I'm forever finding things that just aren't available. I want to watch The Last Dragon. It's like it's nowhere. It's like, well, good thing I got a copy of it. That robot is goofy as hell in the black hole, right? It's like R2D2, but he may or may not have a learning disability. Broski Sean, good seeing you. Been busy in the reality this past week. Sean's always killing it. He constantly cooking out the new content. He's good about watch parties for stuff on its anniversary, which is good because it makes you think about how old a film is. You know that this one's 42 years old or whatever. I hear you, man. This time of year can be overwhelming. Definitely. Catching up for Halloween though. Crazy 88's word. All right, so that's enough. I should get going to bed myself. I thank you so much for joining me. I thank you for hanging out. You guys always make everything wonderful. Without you guys in the chat and you watching later, there'd be no point in doing this. So seriously, the audience is always the co-host of the show, and I'm very grateful for you. And on that note, I wish all of you the best wish I could wish anybody, which is green grass and high tides forever, my friend. And have a good night. Happy spooky season. Throw some money